Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your Wednesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, coming to you live from East Memphis at 11 a.m. Central God's time zone on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. If you're on X, come on over to YouTube, hop in the comments. We've got Jared, we've got Wayne already, the usual suspects with more to come. But here on your screen, we have got not Ja Morant, not Zach Edey, but Drew Gann in the official throwback jersey. Uncle Buck, how's it going today, sir?
What is up? It is a nice day here in Northeast Mississippi as you are in East Memphis. Listen, it's an inside day today. Getting a little rain. The grass needs it. I'll probably be mowing the yard a little this weekend, and I'm not going to be too mad about it. But we have Grizzlies news. So, Wayno, do not go to sleep quite yet because we're actually going to talk a little bit of Memphis Grizzlies today.
Yeah, we got quite a few things. I know some of us covered on the Daily Grind this morning, but we're going to go a little bit deeper on the team as a whole, Drew. Monday is Media Day. Monday, September the 29th is the preseason interviews, Media Day for the Memphis Grizzlies. And then we start official fall camp next week in Nashville. Next Saturday is an open practice here in Memphis. You need to sign up and get your tickets if you want to go to that. They're having one on Saturday, October the 4th. But real quick, before we get to that, this Saturday, October 27th or September 27th, we do have another College Football Saturday show. I'm going to be there. Jared Davidson's going to be there. Zach's going to be there. Drew's going to try to be there if he can. But if you show up in Tennessee or Mississippi State gear, you get $5 beers all day. Come hang out, watch the games with us. We're going to have LSU and Ole Miss on at 2:30 as well. Come spend the day with us at Grind City Brewing, your home for College Football Saturdays this Saturday. Drew, but we do have a lot of Grizzlies news to get to. I wanted to touch on that real quick. We're going to use our real versus counterfeit segment today to talk about a couple of hot takes as well as some signings and get us geared up for the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's right. It's segment number 1 on your Wednesday. That means real or counterfeit. That's where we take a take, I guess is the best way to put it, an opinion. We lob it out there, and then the other co-host says, well, I agree, a.k.a. real, or counterfeit, that's bogus. And real or bogus did not go as well together as real or counterfeit. So that's why we named it this. So I've been kind of thinking about changing it to malarkey instead of counterfeit because that's a good Southern term that everybody should know and use in their everyday vocabulary.
M-word is tough, man. Malarkey, if malarkey comes out, that's the big guns.
And heaven forbid it's bull malarkey because hide your kids if somebody starts throwing around those
Mama
2 words.
Vicky, plug your ears. We're talking about bull malarkey live on color television. What is happening?
So, I'll do the first one. The Memphis Grizzlies announced today that they're bringing back the throwbacks, the ones that I'm wearing now, the original home black jersey for the original Memphis Grizzlies from the Pyramid days. Jason Williams, Shane Battier say what's up. They're bringing it back this year. This is my take. You can agree, aka real, or counterfeit this. I think this should be just the standard Memphis Grizzly jersey. I think this should be the black one. It should take the place of the navy. You should have the white one. And if you saw the promo video, it's just basically the same jersey except inverted. And then, I don't even need the baby blue, the Beale Street blue. Just black and white would go baseball. Home and road, have an alternate that can be cool, yearly, interchanging in. But your standard Memphis Grizzlies uniforms should be these. I think it's the best ones we have.
I'm going to say real with a caveat.
I was going to say, if you say caveat, if you say counterfeit, you have to provide a suggestion.
So I am a bigger fan of the teal, red, black, and white. I think that looks better. I like the navy, Beale Street blue, and yellow. I do. But the only time we've ever gotten it exactly right was those alternates in 21 and 22. And that was mostly because of the yellow accessories that complemented the yellow in the waistband and the collars and just made it pop. You had the claw bear with the yellow in it as well. That's the only time we've ever truly crushed the blue, and yellow. So I would love for our colors, and we got a rebranding coming. It's not going to be that dramatic. We're not going to completely change colors. But if we had a black jersey like what Drew's wearing, what they announced as our throwback for this year, like you said, an alternative white, and then a teal like we had 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that was, absolutely. Like those are the winning jerseys. I don't think anymore, like the Vancouver is cool, but don't put Vancouver on my jerseys anymore. It needs to say Memphis, just like Drew's does. You need to have Memphis Grizzlies. If you do the white inversion like we did last year, I would love for our colors to go back to the old Vancouver colors. Again, I know they're not. Navy, Beale Street blue, and yellow are here to stay. But what Drew's wearing, these have been the hits. It's Thursday of last week was a year ago that Luke and I drafted our favorite jersey combinations on the daily grind, and he inexplicably took the yellow and green. But if you look at the ones that I took, you look at the ones I took, it's what Drew's wearing, the inversion of that, the 21-22s, and then the black, the city jerseys from last year with the MEM on the front. Obviously, I'm a fan of the black jerseys. I think that's a real take.
I mean, I think if you change the Vancouver to Memphis on the white and the teals that they've worn, the Vancouver throwbacks, if you could, buy the trademark and change it and edit it and put Memphis instead of Vancouver, that's probably the best jerseys. But I'm with Wayno here. He says in the comments he refuses to wear Vancouver. I just don't really. It's not Memphis, and I want to make this a Memphis thing. And you can't make your primary jersey something that says Vancouver on it. You just can't. You can make it a throwback, a one-off. Pay your respects to the original Grizzlies that started in the Eastern Conference in Vancouver if you want to. But I'm talking about primary. I don't think the NBA has gone very vanilla with their primary jerseys. Lots of just all caps Times New Roman fonts are going around the NBA these days. The Grizzlies has fallen victim to that as well. Yeah. They're not as egregious and as boring as some of them, but I wanna spice it up. I want to spice it up a lot. I love this teal. You see, I even bought the teal hat. If you want to flip this, like Wayno says in the comments, and do a primarily teal jersey with these colors, the teal, red, and black go extremely well together.
That's an incredible hat.
It's bold. It's different. Nobody else has got it. Ole Miss did the baby blues, and it seems like everybody does baby blues now. Like, you could be on the cutting edge of a color that nobody's really got, a color combination nobody's really got. I love it. I would make these the primary Memphis Grizzlies jerseys.
And the reason we're talking about that today is because it was announced this morning that these are our official throwbacks for this season. The black jerseys with the Memphis, the G and Grizz on the side leg there. It's just an incredible, like you said, an elite color combination, elite jersey combination. The black accessories look so good with this, although teal ones would pop as well. But like, these are just so crispy and so clean, and they represent who we are as Memphis with a nod to our history in Vancouver, because, I'm one of the few that came from Vancouver over because of one Bryant Reeves. So I can appreciate when we do that on the side. But again, this should be our permanent jersey. It's the original colors. It's the Memphis. It's what we had when we first came to Memphis. Wayno, there are grizzly bears in Memphis. Unfortunately, you got to go to the Memphis Zoo to see them, but there are grizzly bears here. That's a fact.
The Grizzlies are native to Western Canada, and where Vancouver is located. Right. They did not change the team mascot when they brought it to Memphis. There are no grizzly bears in the wild in Memphis.
Hot take. I don't hate it. I'm glad we say the Grizzlies. It just works. Memphis Grizzlies sounds good. And I know that's what we've been hearing for 25 years now, but it flows. Well, I like it.
Of course.
There are some stuffed grizzly bears at the Big Bass Pro at the Pyramid. Don't forget about them.
It makes sense, it flows. And this is what I tell my wife. It's like, oh, well, when you name your kid something, you call them this over time. Like, it will make sense. It will learn to flow, and you will think of it. It will make sense. That's what's happened with the Grizzlies. Nobody thinks about whether or not there's grizzly bears in Memphis unless you're Australian, and you just don't know. Yeah. And so there's no lakes in Los Angeles. There's just an ocean, but they came from Minneapolis, and so they are now the Lakers still. So, and there are black bears in this area. We have seen multiple black bears and alligators in North Mississippi, where I live, recently.
Within the last month. there have been sightings in and around Pontotoc, in and around Corinth, in and around Senatobia of black bears with cubs making a return. They used to be prevalent in the state of Mississippi, but they no longer are. But apparently they're making a comeback, much like the Memphis Grizzlies throwback jerseys. And like for a franchise, Drew, 12 years ago, we were voted the best franchise in all of sports. And we continue to just hit absolute bangers with jerseys and alternatives and throwbacks. And this year is going to be no different with the Memphis black jerseys making a return.
I just hate the fact that our best jerseys are always throwbacks. And it's around the NBA. Every team is going back to jerseys that were cooler. And I just ask myself, why are all the cool jerseys not being used? Like, why are they throwbacks? Why don't we just keep using them? Like, it's not like it's rocket science here. Yeah. If you look back and say those jerseys are cooler than these jerseys, then make those jerseys the new jerseys.
Like, case in point, the Minnesota Timberwolves are bringing back the black jerseys with the trees. They're bringing back the tree line floor. It just looks so good, and it's back when KG and those guys were playing from the 90s. Like, I know minimalization, I was about to say that, is like the trendy thing these days, but like, screw that, man. These are sports jerseys. They need to be flashy. They need to look good. And they want to put the name, they want to put the team name on a hat, and you can't really put the tree line of Minnesota on a hat and make it succinct and look cool. That's why you need,
I don't care. Buy the jersey.
You strip it down. You put a claw on there. You put a G on there. You put an M on there. Like, you strip it down and make it exactly. You make it wearable. Like, you can customize around that, but the on-court product should be dope. I
was in the minority of people that liked and I'm going to describe this with hand signals because I don't really know how, but like the
those of you listening on the podcast, imagine.
Yeah, it's like the M. I liked that.
That was
great. But it was so stupid on a jersey because you had to blow it up. But if you put that on a hat, I had the hat. I loved it. You've got one, I think, too.
Somewhere around here. It might be in my bedroom from where I recently wore it, but I've got the hat, I've got the jersey, I've got the hoodie. Like, that MEM was one of my favorites we've ever done.
Yeah, but it didn't look good.
They did a clearance on it, and I bought all of them.
I didn't like it on the jersey because it looked like you blew up something that should have been made succinct for a hat or a logo on a polo, or like, it looked good there. I didn't like the jerseys as much.
That will always be one of my favorite city.
It looked like a QR code when you blew it up that big.
It was like piano keys, man. It worked. I like it. It's one of my favorite alternatives we've ever done. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies for continuing to hit bangers. Drew, we're going to talk a ton of Grizzlies now. We got a whole Grizzly segment. So I've been longing for this bumper video. We've not played it in so long. Can we just bask in the glory of our Talking Grizzly segment for about 8 seconds? We made it. We are so back, baby. The Memphis Grizzlies play real live training camp basketball next week, Drew. And it doesn't matter. We've got basketball to talk about. It is finally here.
Yeah. So the Memphis Grizzlies are going to Nashville. That news came out again. Came out yesterday. For the second straight year, they're going to do their training camp in Nashville. I think I heard a report that Luke Hatmaker was going to be boots on the ground reporting from Memphis Grizzlies training camp. Right. Because you have a lot of reporters that attend training camp. Those are totally not locked down. We've got enemies. We've got enemies in the comment section.
No, we got ball knowers in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for my lame co-host and his terrible takes about Zach Edey that I'm sure are going to come out as we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. But Drew, like, some news before we kind of get deep into it. We've had 3 Memphis Grizzlies announced in the top 100 players in the NBA. You saw this. I sent it to you. We talked about Zach Edey as number 80, which I think is great. The potential is there. We see where he's coming from. Like, I think that the potential is obviously there for him to have a really good year without coaching malpractice.
Yeah. I don't understand how he got there based on just like season stats, like based off of his rookie year stats. ESPN obviously loves him, but
And people with two eyeballs who actually know basketball see the potential. That's there.
Again, I said ESPN. That's not those people.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Zach Edey highlights. I'm talking about Wayno. I'm talking about people who truly appreciate basketball. The Speedy Edey is going to be great this year. And then the other two Memphis Grizzlies, contrary to what we thought that Desmond Bane was going to be ranked super high. Desmond Bane is 39th. Mm-hmm. And then just slightly ahead of him, you have Ja Morant as the 33rd best player in the NBA, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is the highest rated Memphis Grizzly at 31, at the 31 spot. So, Drew, first time I think we've seen Jaren be ranked higher than Ja Morant in this poll. What are your initial takeaways from that?
Well deserved. Obvious, in my opinion. Listen, I've not ad nauseum last year. I kept saying Jaren Jackson Jr. may be the better player this year, but Ja's the most important. You saw that play out again. Mm-hmm. Ja is still the most important player on this franchise, but Ja Morant, but Jaren Jackson Jr. just played better. Jaren deserved to be ranked better. Honestly, he's probably too low because the person one spot ahead of him is Scotty Barnes, and like nothing against Scotty Barnes, but we're 2 years removed from Jaren Jackson Jr. winning Defensive Player of the Year. If he doesn't get hurt down the stretch with a foot injury last year, he's definitely making one of the All-NBA teams, probably third. Could have gotten up to second in the All-NBA teams. Like, you should have been ranked higher. There was a floor, I think, in which you could have insulted me with Ja Morant's rankings, but not at 31. I thought that was fair. He was 20 last year. He didn't play basketball again this year. He got the benefit of the doubt last year because he didn't play basketball the year before and got to 20.
That's what ESPN said, is he will probably perceive this ranking as a slight, but he hasn't been an all-star since 22-23, hasn't been only part of one playoff series win in his career, and he has played 56 games across 2 seasons. There's an opportunity for him to bounce back. He could have a massive return year and prove everybody wrong, because he is one of only 6 players to average 25 points and 7 assists over the past 4 seasons, while only playing in 54% of our games across those 4 seasons. So Ja Morant is at his floor. This is like, you want to buy stock on Ja Morant, now's the time to do it.
Right.
Because with a new system, a new coach that obviously plays into his favor, we saw that down the stretch last year, Ja Morant is set up for a career year. Much like Jaren Jackson Jr., who that side of Grizz Twitter that Jared is talking about, who makes a living hating on Jaren, is punching air right now.
I feel like that community has kind of seceded their post, don't you? Like, I don't see a lot of Jaren hate anymore.
Because it's the off season. You just wait till the season comes back, it's going to be right back. But Jaren was the only player last year with 1,500 points and 100 blocks in last season. He averaged a career high 26.8 points per 36 minutes and continues to get better. Yes, he has playoff issues. I'm one of the biggest stands for Jaren that you're going to find, but there are issues in the playoffs that we need to get better. I think last year could be chalked up to injuries. But, Drew, if you go to FanDuel right now, FanDuel.com, your home for sports betting in college football and the Memphis Grizzlies, that comes back around. You've got Jaren Jackson Jr., you can get it at minus 1,000 for him to average 20 points per game next year. Minus 1,000. Ja Morant is minus 900 to average 22 points per game next year. That's kind of where their floor is. And I think both of those guys, as we saw Jaren averaged almost 27 points last year, are primed to hit the over on both of these points projections, Drew.
Yeah, I think that's the floor for both of them. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I don't think Ja has not averaged 20 points in a year since maybe his rookie year. Yeah. That's a hunch I have. You know, he had the 9-game season. He probably didn't even meet the minimum for a bet to cash one way or the other on that one. But Jaren's going to have a big role. You got to remember, we as in the Memphis Grizzlies, me and Rusty are not on the team, so I'm speaking for as a fan of the Memphis Grizzlies. We're losing Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane was a high-volume shooter. He was your three-point shooter. He was a high-volume ball handler. You're going to split those shots equally between Ja and Jaren, in my opinion. You know, you're going to get one. You know, obviously KCP or whoever's going to start the 2 spot is going to have some shots. But you're going to get Jaren and Ja are going to get a lot of those shots. I think that's a good thing for the Grizzlies. I think that you're going to be able to get a lot more high percentage shots for Jaren because he is a high percentage shooter, especially in close to the goal.
In the lane. That floater in the lane is lethal. And how many times, Drew, have we seen Jaren set the table for Ja to take us home? Like we see that so many times. And no offense to Desmond Bane because he helped with that as well. But it always became a two-man game late in games. You had Jaren with the trailing threes, you had Jaren with the floater in the lane, and then you had Ja that just took over and be the alpha that he is. Because yes, consistently Jaren is the better player, but this is Ja Morant's team. He's the superstar. He makes us go. He is the alpha on this team. And as he goes, we go. And if Ja plays 65, 70 games this year, we're going to win a vast majority of them. We're going to hit the over, as you see here from FanDuel.com, at 40.5 pretty easily. And so, again, as Jared said, we're going to replace Desmond Bane in the aggregate. You're going to have Jaren be able to shoot more threes, which he is getting better at. You got Ty Jerome, who's going to be able to replace some of that volume shooting. KCP, I think, is going to have a bounce-back year because he's not going to have to be the guy like he was last year in Orlando. And you just, like, if Cedric Coward or Jalen Wells can develop any bit of a three-point shot, and you know who else I'm really excited about heading into this year? Scottie Pippen Jr., man, the tear he finished last year. I own that I was kind of like pumping the brakes a bit on Scottie and kind of like
didn't want him to make any money. That was all he wanted.
All I wanted was I was trying to be fiscally sound, and all he did was be the best player on the court for us. Again, most of the attention was put onto Jaren and Desmond in the playoffs, but Scottie had a whale of a playoff series to ride in the offseason. So forgive me if I'm a little bit more excited about our backup point guard than I should be.
Yeah, I think that Scottie Pippen's solid. I think he is a backup point guard, and I think if we're talking a lot about Scottie Pippen Jr. being a high-volume scorer, or a high-volume player, is because Ja Morant's not playing, and that's going to slam the under. So I am excited about Coward. There's so many more variants that you can throw out there. You know, I think that maybe the team is not top end as good, like superstar level good, but you are able to, you know, throw a lot more things at somebody, particularly on defense. KCP was a really good defender on the best defensive team that the NBA had last year, and I think he is more the shooter that he's been his whole career and not the shooter he was last year in Orlando. Orlando, who had a great defense and was also the worst three-point shooting team in the league. And so I don't think he is a terrible three-point shooter. I don't think that people forget how to shoot. It's not like it's you can't get up and dunk anymore. This is shooting. This is, you know, easier motion. You're not going to lose it. So I think KCP is going to be good. I'm all in on Coward. I feel like somehow he is being forgotten about. Maybe it's just me, but like when I'm looking at kind of, I forget about him. You know, he was a 10th pick. Coward. We just don't see him. You know, you don't have the highlights. You're not seeing, you know, multiple times during the year. This is due to Ja Morant's viral nature, and it's not fair to compare that to Cedric Coward. Multiple times during the offseason, I see dozens of Ja Morant highlights or Jalen Wells, you know, defensive highlights, or Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, you just don't. There are not highlights of Cedric Coward to speak of. You know, he played half dozen games.
6 games.
Yeah, 6 games at Washington State the year before he gets drafted. So you just don't have a lot. So there is like an absence of that. And also it's because we're talking about KCP a lot and they play the same position. So I'm high on Coward. I can't wait to start seeing preseason reports now that we know that Coward is fully cleared.
I think some of that was on purpose, too. Probably some showmanship and the fact that he just wasn't doing a lot. Word on the street is him, Coward, Gigi, and Jalen have been locked in together playing a lot this summer, especially now that Coward has been cleared. And so, like you said, I'm excited to see that kind of come around. Wayne brings up a good point. Jaren is a unicorn. It's up to ZK to find the rebounders, the team, to allow Jaren to play to his strengths. The last time we had a big lug who set screens and rebounded, Jaren was Defensive Player of the Year. Last year, Zach Edey averaged 21.5 minutes per game. He averaged 9.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks last season. Only one rookie has ever matched or exceeded that production across the board with a higher effective field goal percentage than Zach Edey's .600 or 60%. So I think that Zach Edey can be that guy. He said this is why I think this offense is going to be so good for Ja and Jaren. Zach Edey set 32.9 on-ball screens per game under Tomas Isolo in the final 2 weeks of the season versus only 13.2 under Taylor Jenkins. If we can get Ja running off of those Edey screens, if we can develop any semblance of a pick-and-roll game with Ja and Edey, Jaren and Edey, you could make this thing be dangerous.
Yeah.
And Zach Edey can be that rebounder to take the pressure off of Jaren, even though the nerds will still give him flack for it.
Yeah, I've never I don't think that Edey was used well under Jenkins at all. I do think that his role was better under Tomas. My thing with Edey has always been you see 7'3", 7'4", 7'2" centers who don't move the feet well and don't switch well get rendered useless to the bench in playoff series. That's my beef, and that's something that will not change until I see it. And so I'm just always taking it with a grain of salt. I think there is an extremely high possibility that he is a really, really good role player on this team in the regular season.
And that's all we need him to be. I thought we need to be a good role player in the regular season and the playoffs.
Exactly,
yes,
but that's not what I said. You said that's what we need. I said I think that he can be that in the regular season, but we need it in the playoffs when they are going to switch him onto everything. He's going to have to prove that to me.
And I think this ankle surgery is going to help. I think getting some run is going to help. And I think Zach Edey is going to have a big bounce back year this year. I truly think we're going to see some special things out of Edey because it was such coaching malpractice. Everybody was out of position last year. Nobody knew what they were doing. And I think you get some confidence back in Zach Edey because it's a system that plays to his strengths. I think we're barely scratching the surface of a former Naismith Player of the Year, of what we truly have in Zach Edey. I refuse to be out on a guy heading into his second year in the NBA who with limitless potential, in my opinion. But Drew, who do you expect? So we've got Jaren and Edey are going to be out a little bit. We signed another big body in Braxton Key.
Jared should be back, right?
So I don't know. I know he's ahead of schedule. I wouldn't be surprised if we played a bit slow early, but maybe. I think he could be back. But I think a starting lineup, you're still probably going to see
Coffee, no Baileys.
Coffee.
No Baileys in this one.
I think you're obviously going to see Ja. You're obviously going to see KCP and Jalen Wells. I think we know what our backcourt is going to look like. But down low is where it's going to be interesting. You know, we've got Santi, we've got BC. It looks like they're back and ready to go. You got PJ Hall, who is the Clemson signee. That's a big body. We signed Braxton Key, who's yet another Jay Huff, former.
Hey, we got
G League DPOY. We've got
we love Jay Huffs. we got PJ Hall. We got PJ Hall. You know, an athletic white center, and then we went and got another Jay Huff in Braxton, who is Defensive Player of the Year in the G League. Another Jay Huff. We just trying to recreate Jay Huff in the aggregate.
And we're getting another bait and switch, right? Because for Jay Huff being the G League DPOY, he was both cheeks and the crack in the middle defensively in the NBA. He was so bad.
Exactly.
He was so bad defensively.
So you said Braxton Lee? Is that his name?
Key, K-E-Y.
Braxton Key. I'm assuming they signed him to a training camp contract, right? It's not obviously it's not a two-way. So
Jared said it was an exhibit. Jared said it was an exhibit 10 this morning on the Daily Grind. So I mean, it feels like a body for training camp, but we're currently sitting at 22 players, and you can only take 20 into training camp. So by Sunday, there's going to be some cleaning up of it. Is it like a lovering? Is it who's going to be the guys that get cut? We'll see. But you can only take 20 into training camp. Well, and I'll
put it to you this way. I don't think it's worth dissecting who's going to make the cut to the training camp roster. You know, if we're talking who's the 18th to 22nd best player, we're probably talking about a bunch of people that aren't going to matter in the regular season much.
Yeah.
We've been wrong about that before. The Grizzlies have found diamonds in the rough. But I don't think that the 18 players being the 15 guys on the main roster and the 3 two-ways and Jemiah Mashak, so that's 19. I don't think any of them are in danger of not making the training camp roster. So you're looking at Braxton Key and Lyle Lovering.
Lawson Lovering. Those are the guys that I look to be gone. And I think Mashak is going to get a hustle contract, but I can see him being promoted to a two-way down the road when we get fully healthy in the front court. But another interesting note, they talked about this on the Daily Grind this morning too. I just think it's funny. Braxton Key and Ty Jerome and Jay Huff were all on that Virginia title team together. And so
interesting.
Love those Virginia guys apparently.
Well, you know, Zach Clemens a nerd. He likes the Duke guys. He likes the ACC guys. I would assume that he had a lot of respect for what was the guy's name? Tony Bennett, you know?
Yeah.
And so the
not
cerebral
Tony
guys
Bennett.
is probably
Not Tony Bennett. We're not singing in Vegas. It's not Tony Bennett. What is it?
It's Bennett.
Yeah, Tony Bennett is the performer, the singer who passed away a couple years ago. What was that Virginia kid? It was something Bennett.
Well, I hope they're both Tony Bennett.
Well, I'll be darned. I thought it was Kevin Bennett. It's Tony Bennett, but it's it's Tony Bennett. I stand corrected. My apologies.
And I don't think the singer is Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Mm-hmm. Anthony Dominic Benedetto was his name. The jazz singer is Tony. They're both Tony Bennett.
Oh, so it's not Tony Bennett. It's Tony Benedetto. Okay. So I was right. You were wrong. Case closed. Cowboy smash.
We're over here arguing about singers and Virginia coaches.
So one of them coached at Virginia. The other one sang with Lady Gaga. You tell me who's more iconic. So.
But yeah, man. So we're this close to the Memphis Grizzlies. We've fallen off the rails here, but all you need to know is the Grizzlies are back next week. FanDuel has us at plus 1,000 to win the division, plus 6,000 to win the conference. These numbers have changed. So we're now plus 116 to make the playoffs. We were minus 105 at the peak to be in the play-in. That number has changed. We're now tied with Dallas at plus 100 at FanDuel.com to make the play-in. So we're back to positive money instead of being, an obvious shoe-in for the play-in. I wonder what's causing some of that movement.
Not that the division matters, but Fred VanVleet getting hurt does hurt Houston a lot. That team was really bad last year without Fred VanVleet. Now, I do understand they did add Kevin Durant. So, I mean, we shouldn't overreact too much when you lose Fred VanVleet and add Kevin Durant. But he was a really good kind of Mike Conley-style point guard that set the table for them. And then elsewhere in the division, New Orleans, I don't know if you saw Zion Williamson, crackhead Zion.
He's half the man he used to be.
That's a little scary, if I'm being honest. You hear the Zion's healthy, Zion's in shape every year, and when he does media day, he's as big as a cow. That dude looks good. Like, he looks really good. He actually looks healthy. And this is the first year in the last 3 or 4 years that I've looked at him and been like, you know what? He kind of looks built to last. I'll believe it when I see it.
Believe it when I see it, because he was skinny-ish last year. He's like skinnier than Luka this year. Like, he's made the transition more than Luka did. I need to see something. I need to see it translate onto the court. Wado brings up adding Westbrook in Houston. They can't do that because they're $1.2 million under the first apron hard cap. So they're trying to stay under that all the teams are afraid of getting under. Right now, they don't have the only tradable players that they have, because this is what's wild, is the only players that they can trade are Amin Thompson, Reed Shepard, Şengün, Kevin Durant, Tari Eason. Those are the only players that they can trade. They can trade Steven Adams, Fred VanVleet, Capella, DFS, all those guys, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, after December 15th, the way the contracts are structured. So, like, they could go get him, but it's going to cost them, and it's going to put them over the apron.
Zion was looking like Edward a little bit, a little bit more trim, Yeah. Listen, if I'm Houston, you know what I'm doing? Reed Shepard, it's your team, buddy. We picked you third. Yeah. We picked you third. You're not going to be but you're not going to be like a big guard that this is the position you will play. Like, you're not going to be on the wing. You're not going to be the defender. You're not going to be the athletic, run the spread option kind of point guard. You are going to be the more traditional, and it sucks to pigeonhole him, the white point guard. That's what you're going to be. This should be his team. I would absolutely be like, all right, Reed Shepard, I talk about this with college quarterbacks a lot. Go out there and screw up. Go out there, figure it out. It's an 82-game season, and you're playing with Kevin freaking Durant. Amin Thompson will get everybody you miss that gets by you on defense. Kevin Durant, just get him the ball on offense. Figure it out. This should be Reed Shepard's team.
Yeah, because we don't know. Is Reed Sheppard actually a good point guard? Was he just Kentucky good? Is he Jimmer Fredette? We don't know.
I'm a believer. I
know you are. You're big on him, but Houston was not last year because they just criminally mismanaged him. They sent him down for some G League minutes. They just didn't use him last year. Maybe they didn't see a need for him because they had a crowded.
They had a log jam. Yeah, they had a log jam with Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and the other one they traded away, Jalen Green, and Amen Thompson. They had just a surplus of guards that you couldn't really find a role for him. Yeah. There's a role for you now. Like go out there and
there he is.
Go out there and because what's going to happen? Fred VanVleet's on a big contract. If Reed Sheppard shows out, like you can get off that contract. Fred VanVleet's not coming back. You're talking about a salary dump situation. I don't know how many years are on the contract, but he's a perfect salary dump kind of guy.
Yeah. So, and Wayno's asking like, how much do you think Westbrook's going to go for these days? It's going to be more than 1.2 million, but they're not going to be willing to spend that on what Russell Westbrook to stay away from that. And they can't even apply. They can apply for the disabled player exception, but based on their financial structuring, it would still take them over the first apron. So they're going to have to bet on Reed Sheppard. He's got Fred VanVleet's contract is he's got 2 years left on a $50 million contract. He's a $25 million this year and next year, and then he's an unrestricted free agent in 27-28. That's a very tradable contract.
Yeah, but it's not like a salary dump thing, though. I was thinking, you send him to Brooklyn or something, or send him to Washington, who's just looking to have a bunch of money fall off. That's not the situation. It's more like a Marcus Smart contract. 2 years. You got to eat the second year.
Yeah. It's going to cost you a first or something to get rid of it.
So, anyways, I'm not shoehorning anybody into this to get minutes away from Reed Sheppard. Now, Kevin Durant's going to make that call. If Kevin Durant says he wants Russell Westbrook to reunite Oklahoma City, then that's what he'll get. But I wouldn't.
No. I would run it and see what you got. You took him third overall for a reason. See what you got in Reed Sheppard because it could be another 3-point weapon for the Houston Rockets. But
this is kind of the reason why I want to just give it to him.
Give him a shot.
You can't have the unknown with a third pick. You've got to figure it out. And you've got a perfect opportunity and runway to figure at the end of this season or at the trade deadline even, you can make a pretty educated opinion on what Reed Sheppard's going to be. I think he's a high-floor point guard. So
I mean, he could be, but it's just weird that to be a high-floor point guard that, yes, it was a logjam, but he still couldn't find any minutes last year. We're going to find out this year. There's not going to be any room for doubt this year.
Listen, this is way more time we were going to spend on Houston today, but Ime Udoka is a hard-nosed veteran coach who prefers veteran players. They don't want to play. They don't want to deal with rookies if they don't have to. That's why he didn't play.
I mean, that's probably fair. He's probably going to lean more towards the vets, but way more time on Houston than we expected. The Memphis Grizzlies play basketball next week in training camp. You get an opportunity to watch them in an open practice on October the 4th and get to see some run. Hopefully see Cedric Coward, see the new look Jalen Wells with the new hairstyle, a healthy John Morant, knocks on wood. And we'll see where we're at with Jaren and Zach Edey, who I think will be participating. They're not going to be, I don't think, especially Zach Edey, I don't think they're going to be in a full open run just yet, but they will participate probably in some one-on-one drills, some basketball drills. Jaren, I think, is going to be a bit further based on where his surgery versus
You mean Edey?
I'm just telling you.
Edey's going to be further.
No.
Edey's going to be further.
I'm saying Jaren's further along in his recovery than Zach Edey is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, the surgery that Zach Edey had, they're going to be very cautious with that because they tightened up a ligament and they don't want to stretch that out because that's that's the whole purpose you do this is to get him more playing time and make him more stable. I'm just telling y'all, for Jaren, you could probably see him a bit sooner with the turf toe surgery. With Zach Edey, I think they're going to be a bit more strategic, especially knowing the Memphis Grizzlies like we do.
Yeah, there's two players that I'm curious about to see the length in which they practice. Now, training camp I don't think is super physical. Maybe a lot of sprinting, a lot of conditioning, stuff like that. I don't think Jaren's going to have any problem with that. I worry about how much play, live action he is. And I want to see him, and I want to see Brandon Clark because he is the X factor if you're looking at that low post position. Because if you get past Brandon Clark, you are talking about P.J. Hall. That's the level of guys you're getting to at playing the center position.
Yeah, until Edie and Jaron are both fully healthy. And don't forget about one Santiago Aldama, who got married.
I don't want to talk about him at the 5. Never again. I don't want to see him.
Agreed. It's such a liability at the 5, man. Truly a liability. But y'all hang around. We got the Grizzlies coming back next week. Couldn't be more excited to get them back. We can talk talk basketball. Wayno can stay up and actually watch our show now as we will cover the Grizzlies a bit more. But on the other side of this commercial break, we are going to talk some football. We got some NFL lines coming up for this weekend that we can talk through as we get ready to head into the season, because tomorrow and Friday will be heavily college football with the greased poll tomorrow and then our picks against the FanDuel spread on Friday. Back on the other side to talk football.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
I am super amped about this game. I just have this feeling that it's going to be a very special day in Memphis on Saturday.
I hope so.
I had a chance today at the media press conference at the availability to talk to some media members that were not in Memphis in 2019 and share with them what college game day coming to Beale Street was like. The season feels like a 2019 type of season.
Already.
It just does. It just does. It feels like a Destiny type of team that really, really amps me up for this Saturday, because this is just another chapter in the story that I think this season is going to end up being for the Tiger football program.
I hope you're right. I hope you were right. You're getting me fired the heck up.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
We are 2 weeks away from NBA training camp. I want to know what things you guys are intrigued about the most. Edward says he needs to see a Cedric Coward workout video. It's not that I think the Grizzlies are being weird about it. I just think that our level of anxiety for it is high. Now, whether you want to debate whether that's understandably high or just y'all just tripping high, that's for each man to determine. I don't think the Grizzlies are being weird about it at all. Like I think if I was watching something and it felt like they were intentionally showing him working out for whatever reason, I would think that's weird too, man. Like I haven't seen Brandon Clark pick up a ball in forever, but I'm kind of assuming he's going to be ready to play. Like I'm not pointing any grand conspiracy about hiding Brandon Clark. Like I don't particularly have to see Cedric Coward play basketball to think that he's fine or he'll be ready for camp. I haven't seen anybody do anything with a basketball since Summer League. The guys that played in Summer League, I saw them play. I ain't seen nobody do anything since then.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show midweek edition. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. I'm ashamed to say that I just thrust my hips when I said Hump Day. Thankfully, the camera is just from the torso up. Welcome back. We've got a lot of Grizzlies. Hey, this show may go a little long. I'm not going to apologize because we were both kind of just chomping at the bit to talk about some Memphis Grizzlies. It went places, and it's because of just sheer excitement. It's right around the corner.
And we're just getting started. With the Grizzlies coming back next week, we're going to have a ton more Grizzlies content. So y'all hang out with us here on Bluff City Media. Give us a thumbs up if you're here on YouTube. If you're on X perusing by, come on over to YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Hop in the comments. Tell us what you're most excited about with the Memphis Grizzlies season coming up. But Drew, we got a bit more SEC news. We've got some NFL lines we may save for the very end, but we got some more SEC news yesterday. Yesterday on our show, we talked about the annual opponents that have been added for our SEC fans or SEC schools, where we're going to be playing 3 other teams for the next 4 years consistently. And then last night and this morning, they dropped our entire SEC schedules from 2026 through 2029. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty stoked about some of the matchups. Some teams got off a bit easier. Some teams got off a little bit rougher. But we'll talk about some of the main ones here. I'll start with Mississippi State. We'll go through Ole Miss.
I'll real quick. The thing that I liked about this, just off the top, the more I look at it, I don't necessarily buy strength of schedule as much anymore unless you're just looking at a season-by-season thing. Because of the way that this is, 3 common opponents every single year for at least the next 4 years before they swap it up or evaluate it. Not necessarily swap it up, but evaluate it in 4 years. You're playing every team in the SEC every 2 years. And so when you look at this, Ole Miss, for instance, doesn't play Alabama in 26, but they play them in 27. They play them in 29. They play them in 31. And then
I like how that kind of works out.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
You're getting them kind of every other year. And so for Mississippi State, we'll start here. We get Auburn back on the schedule next year. I'm excited about that. We get Oklahoma coming to Starkville in 2026, the Jeff Levy Bowl against his former squad. Excited about that. But then, we play Georgia again. We were talking about it off air. We play Georgia again next year in Athens. That'll make 3 consecutive times. The last 3 times we've played Georgia have all been in Athens. And so it's eventually we'd like for them to come here instead of us always having to go to Athens and get our butt kicked. At least let them come to Starkville and do it. I tweeted this out yesterday after our show. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt have been in the same conference for roughly 100 years. And we have played 24 times in those 100 years. So we're going to play 1/6 of the amount of times that we have played over the course of the next 4 years. It's just funny how some of these things work out when in a conference like the SEC, how we didn't play them that much. But you see, we get away games next year at LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and unfortunately, we do not drop Texas. We get to hang on to them. Play in, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri. It just feels like it's just going to continue to be another brutal schedule in the SEC, but that's just what you get by playing in the SEC.
Well, I mean, Mississippi State will play Vanderbilt for the 25th time, and at the expense of Ole Miss's second best true rivalry game being the Vanderbilt game, in which Ole Miss has probably played Vanderbilt more. Well, I would say
I'm pulling it up
way
right
more
here.
than any other team in the East or in the
Ole
old
Miss.
East.
It doesn't show.
It's
on
not
here
on there. I looked because
it's
it's only looking at the Ole Miss opponents, and so
the ones that you're actually playing.
Right. Ole Miss will play. You said Mississippi State has only played Vanderbilt 24 times. By the time this starts and the common opponents start next year, Ole Miss will have played Oklahoma twice. So a real rivalry between the two, the Sooners and the Rebels. So.
Yeah, budding rivalry there. But
but
again,
this
Mississippi State has played Ole Miss 117 times, the most. We played Alabama 104, which is third most, and then Vanderbilt 24 times, being the 13th team out of the SEC for us.
Right. So, and the 14th team was yourself. So,
basically,
in this sport, you don't play with yourself that often. So,
you don't. Moving right along.
So this is I hate. Ole Miss does such a great job, in my opinion, with their videos, like the post-game recaps, the highlights. I think they do an incredible job. They always make these single graphics so hard to read. I don't know why they do it like this. Make it bolder, please. Make it more color, more colors, not just 3. Okay, I got blue and a navy blue and a white, and it's kind of hard to read.
One of your primary colors is red. Slap some red on there. Make it pop. Other than
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And I also don't like when you use the team logo without the team colors, because it just, when you're using it and it's so small, it kind of blobs together. Like, is that Missouri? Is that LSU?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, Ole Miss at 26. I like you're getting 5 SEC home games. That is one of the perks that we didn't talk about. In 27, you've got 4. You've always had 4. In 26, you're getting a 5th home game. And every other year you will have 5 home games. That's really cool. Ole Miss picks up Auburn. Ole Miss has not played Auburn or Alabama since Texas and Oklahoma joined the conference. So you're picking up Auburn. That is a home game. That is, possibly the second time Hugh Freeze comes back to Oxford, Mississippi. As the Auburn coach, he has come back as a Liberty coach. Is that right? Is this Hugh's? This is Hugh's 3rd year at Auburn, right?
Yes,
So,
it's his 3rd year.
I'm trying to remember if he's been back to Ole Miss since he's been at Auburn. I'd have to look back at that one matchup, but Ole Miss gets Georgia for a 3rd consecutive year. Thankfully, this one is at home. And you pick up Missouri. That home slate, if you're looking to buy Ole Miss season tickets, and I don't know how many people are in this chat listening to this show that's diehard Ole Miss football fan. I hope there's a lot of us. There's never been a sexier season ticket than in 2026 when you're hosting LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn, Georgia, and Missouri. That is this is what I'm talking about. Ditch the garbage game and pick up an SEC team. You're ditching, one of Central Arkansas or Georgia State, and you're picking up Missouri. And you're picking up a home game against Pitt.
Yeah, you've got a potential to have another Power 4 school in there, so that's a great season ticket package. This is Hugh Freeze's first time back in Oxford since November of 2021 when he was with Liberty.
Okay. And that was a boat race. Hope you enjoyed your stay, Hugh. But Ole Miss is going to have 6 of their 7 games next year for their season ticket for the home fans. LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn, Georgia, Missouri, and Pitt. That's worth so much more money than what you were going to get even for this year's season tickets.
I mean, we're right there too. Alabama, Auburn, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt for Mississippi State. I mean, Vandy, we don't know what they're going to be next year without Diego Pavia, but right now that'd be a hot ticket. And you've got a natural rival with Alabama and Auburn, who we've played a bazillion times. Missouri is good. Drinkwitz always has those teams good. Oklahoma could be great again next year. That's a great home season ticket packet. But I do like that you're getting, it looks like every other year we're going to get 5 home SEC games.
Right.
And I like that because then next year you get 4, but we get some cool road destinations for us and y'all as well. If you want to hit the road and go see Ole Miss play at Kyle Field, that's on my bucket list of places to go watch a game. I'd like to go stand in the Colt and watch Mississippi State play at Kyle Field. And so
the only thing I would change about Ole Miss's schedule, and the only time I think anybody should truly complain about their schedule is if they want to complain about their every year. Their common opponents for every single year. I don't like that LSU and Mississippi State are both at home or both on the road every year. I wish they alternated that. Make Mississippi State and Oklahoma a road game every year. It used to be that way with I believe it was Alabama in the old SEC West days, where Ole Miss would always play Alabama and Mississippi State on the road every year, or they would both be at home. If that is the 2 of the 3 matchups there that you're going to get every single year, and those are 2 trophy games, whether or not Rusty wants to call it a rivalry, it is very important games, and I wish that those were alternated. You get 1 at home every single year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think you should be able to alternate some of those. Arkansas for Jared, we're going to throw this up real quick. You get next year at home, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee. This might be the only graphic worse than Ole Miss's, A, because
that's Arkansas, pretty bad,
and B, because that gray at the bottom is really hard to see.
They definitely made that one on Canva.
1,000%. And then Tennessee's you can actually read with the orange kind of highlighting, you can see it. But again, make these team colors, the state in 2027 and the orange block, it just kind of fades in. And so make these team colors, make it easier on us so we can talk about it with our old eyes and see this on our screen. But
let's look at this. Hold on. Leave this on the screen 1 second. Next year, Tennessee does not play Florida or Georgia.
Neither. 2 of
and then in 27, they play Georgia on the road, Florida at home. So every other year, Tennessee is going to play Alabama, Georgia, and Florida in the same season. And so, but every year they're going to play Alabama, so that's given. But every other year you're going to add in Florida and Georgia for the rivalry games. So.
That's brutal. That's brutal. I mean, Florida's fixing to go in the absolute, crapper as they try to figure out their next head coaching situation. But the Big Ten did double down, Drew, and say that they are not having conversations about adding a Power 4 team to their non-conference. Eventually, that's going to change. But right now, they're not even having the conversations per their commissioner yesterday.
Just wait. So CBS is the game of the like. Who's their big partner? I guess it would be Fox. And Fox is No, Fox and CBS gets the 2:30 game. Wait till they put pressure on them, because that's when it changes. Like the SEC was against it until you signed this lucrative ESPN contract, and then it's like, oh, I think we changed our minds because the commissioner does not run the sport. ESPN does.
Absolutely. It is all about media money. All about media money. As we wrap up, speaking of media money, talking about FanDuel, over at FanDuel.com, we got some lines for some big NFL games this Sunday. Edward, if you're still here in the comments, yes, we've got Micah Parsons' return game at Dallas where he can go wreak some havoc on what's been a pedestrian Dallas offense so far.
They just got beat by the Bears.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to go well.
And lost CeeDee Lamb in the process.
Yeah, so now who's that going to throw it to? Jake Ferguson? It ain't going to go well.
I need to.
Chiefs game. We get a Colts Rams.
Yeah,
the Browns, who upset the Packers, traveled to Detroit, and the Eagles and Bucks. There's some good NFL games this weekend, Drew.
Yeah, I'm really in on one game that you have not highlighted yet. Jackson Dart being the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. That's going to be fun for me. I can't even remember who they're playing.
Is it Jacksonville?
Or no, it's Kansas City, isn't it?
No, Kansas City's playing the Ravens.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll pull it up. I'm talking.
Yeah, but I'm really into that game. Listen, I made an historic comeback in my League of Avengers fantasy football game Monday night. A Monday night miracle was had as I needed 60 points from a three-way stack of Lions players being Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Jamison Williams. That trio provided me 65 points for a miraculous comeback. It was amazing. So I will probably just have to keep up with the Lions. For that reason, I owe them that, despite the fact they're playing the Browns, which is less than inspiring.
Yeah, so the Los Angeles Chargers travel to East Rutherford, New Jersey to face the Giants. They're 6.5-point road favorite at the Giants on FanDuel.com right now. You can get the Giants at plus 235. Over-under is set at 44.5 right now on
What's
FanDuel.com.
the dart passing yardage line? And I want to see rushing yardage too. Because
Jackson Dart's over-under is set at 192.5.
That's a respectable number. Yeah.
Justin Herbert is at 257.5. Yeah. Over-under rushing yards for Jackson Dart is set at 35.5. Rushing attempts is 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. Outside of that, listen, I don't think anybody has entertained me more this year than the Ravens. They've had such an incredible schedule. This is week 4, and they're going to have played the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Lions. Sign me up. Just if whoever's playing that many good games, and every game has been incredible. So, it was at their expense this week because I needed the Lions to have a big day. So
the storyline being, can Derrick Henry hang on to the football? He's already matched his entire season total of fumbles from last year in 3 games this year. He had 3 all of last year, and he's got 3 so far in 3 games. He even fumbled his frustration, taking out his frustration where he slammed his helmet on the bench, tripped, and fell in front of the bench. And so King Henry is
that was a bad look.
Not on the throne right now because that was a bad look.
That's 2 critical game-losing fumbles that he's had this year.
Against the Bills and the Lions so far this year. Can he hang on to it? The Chiefs have not looked good. They were in an absolute rock fight with the Giants the other night. Travis Kelce hadn't been the same. Xavier Worthy's hurt. Can the Chiefs turn it around, or is Baltimore going to right now? I would take the Ravens to absolutely cover 2.5 based on what I've seen from the Chiefs for 2 weeks so far.
Yeah, and if I have to put money on anybody in the AFC to win the AFC, give me the Bills. I wouldn't like to typically take the favorite this early in the season, but the Bills have been absolute world beaters.
The only person who is outplaying Josh Allen right now is Daniel Jones. Indiana Jones for the Colts. They travel to the Rams. There's I saw a side-by-side of their stats, and it's we need to have a conversation where he is leading Josh Allen in every single stat. The Colts have set a franchise record for 143 points in 3 games. Like, they've just absolutely blowing this season out of the water. And again, I've said it a couple times. Daniel Jones was going to get Brian Daboll fired with the Giants. He's definitely going to get him fired with the Colts with the way he has started this season.
It just goes to show you, like, quarterback is so much more than just arm talent and smarts, because Daniel Jones was taken so highly in the draft because of the cerebral nature, the way he can beat you with his feet, and he's just got a natural arm talent. And you go and you have a bad fit in New York, and then you just get unleashed. Shane Steichen at Indiana just kind of unleashed you. He straight up beats out the incumbent, which is Anthony Richardson, which, you wouldn't normally put a lot of stock into that, except for the fact that you have a lot invested in Anthony Richardson. But he goes and beats him out and makes it undeniable. They move Anthony Richardson to the third string back. It just, maybe you've seen it last year a lot with Sam Darnold. Turned out Sam Darnold's just good. He wasn't a creation by Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. He's been really good at Seattle this year too. And it's the same reason. It translates all the way down to the college level, to where there's guys that I'm just not willing to give up on. The problem in college is that it's rarer that you have a coordinator or head coach change that matters immediately like you do in the pros. So the reason why I'm like, DJ Lagway just doesn't suck. Needs something different. He needs to be removed from this situation.
Upstairs is what he needs.
So
watching the game is too
but
fast.
that is my train of thought when it comes to guys like DJ Lagway. It's like, I know that we there's a fork in the road between us, but and also he's paying the price of Anthony Richardson being a former Florida Gator taking 5th overall, who sucks.
Okay, let's talk DJ Uiagalelei, who was just right down the road in Tallahassee.
There is no parallels there. Like, he sucked at Clemson, he sucked at Oregon State, he sucked at where did he start? He started Clemson, Oregon State, and Florida State. He sucked everywhere he went. There is no parallels.
He had a handful of games where he started off hot with Clemson, and then it went off the rails.
But you're just picking terrible quarterbacks.
You just don't want to see the compare. You're just blinding to it and still buying into preseason.
You can't. There are no comparable factors. I don't know why you bring him up.
Because
how?
They're both big. They're both athletic. They both have great measurables.
But DJ sucks, and he sucked for 5 years.
Gabe's point last Saturday was that DJ Lagway 6'4", 220, runs a 4.4 40. Okay, Anthony Richardson did. DJ Uiagalelei does. Like, these guys are not, like, the comparisons are there. You just don't want to see it because you don't want to be wrong about DJ Lagway.
I did not make the comparison size speed ratio. Like, that doesn't matter to me.
Just don't want to be wrong about it. But we're not talking about DJ Lagway. We'll talk more about that coming up because we got some more Florida talk and SEC talk. But this weekend, Indiana Jones has a chance to continue being hot for the Colts against the Rams. We'll see what comes out of that, if it's true or not. But so far, he absolutely looks like he's in the perfect place for him because he just has such command of the offense already through 3 games and just been torching the NFL.
Yeah, they're definitely the story of the NFL. Being 3-0 is definitely the story of the NFL.
Yep, absolutely. But that's going to do it for your Wednesday edition of the $2 Sports Show. We talked hoops. We talked SEC schedule. We talked NFL. And we're going to talk about DJ Lagway because it's one thing that we will guarantee to argue about every single show. But thanks to everybody for being in the comments. Jared, Edward, King Meeks, Zach Edie highlights. We appreciate all y'all being here. Anyone that I missed, thank y'all for being here. If you watch this on X, come on over to YouTube next time. Hang out with us in the comments. It's always a blast with guys arguing and yelling at us as we argue and yell at one another. But until tomorrow, be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel, where we'll be talking Greased Poll. Drew, super excited to talk college football Greased Poll. But y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Happy Hump Day. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.